Welcome, everybody. Hope you are well today. I'm James, and I'll be your host. Again, welcome to Community Fit, and this is Stress Reset. This is week number 4 of the class. Again, as always, these classes are not necessarily cumulative, although the practices do blend in, inform, and stream in together. And today you're going to have an experience all about that. If, as we explore and play and practice today, you're confused, don't worry. We have on record all of the previous sessions. We will include a link if you have not gotten it yet. We will include a link in today's chat for you to visit and review any of the previous practices. If you have been coming consistently, hopefully you've been practicing on your own. That's what this whole thing is about. Often we think, oh, I can just live my life and drop in for a half hour here and then like I'm done. And that's not the truth, especially with these stress reset classes and practices. A really thoughtful way of utilizing this material is to think, what feels really important? What did I discover today? What did I notice? What is one or two things I feel are very valuable for me to remember and recall in my body and do daily? 2 times a day, 3 times a day, whenever I feel like I need to do them. So we're going to have a little bit of a quick review of some stuff, and then we're going to have a brand new experience today. We, over the last 3 weeks, have been working pretty exclusively with how stress is held in the body. Today, we're going to move into what are some beliefs that I hold in my mind that cause me to be more stressed in my body. Shocker, expectations are the #1 leading cause of stress. Again, I'll say it. Expectations are the leading cause of stress. I expect this to happen in my reality. This should happen. It did not. And now I'm stressed. So what this class is all about is resetting your stress level and preparing you to be better able to respond well to the world around you. So let's go ahead and get started. The breathing practice we are going to utilize for today is one of my favorites. We're going to do 4-7-8 breath. If 4-7-8 breath does not work for you, you can go into the physiological sigh. That's inhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, then an exhale. It's double inhalation, exhale. You can simply breathe, or you can follow me into 4-7-8. We're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold our breaths for counts of 7, exhale for a count of 8. 4-7-8. I'll do the counting, you do the breathing. Nice deep inhale to cleanse. And exhale. Let's do one more preparation. Inhale. Exhale. And together, we're going to inhale to a count of 4, 3, 2, hold your breath. 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If it feels good, close your eyes. If not, keep them open. Take an inventory of what you notice or feel. Where in your body feels tight, less spacious, more congested? What grabs your attention? What are you thinking about? What were you thinking about? What's occupying your brain space, the mental terrain of your life? What's the quality of your breath? It's the quality of your experience right now. How would you rate it? Are you more in your body or more outside of your body right now? More in your brain, more to the side of you, or are you in your body? Mental note that. Be with that. Then rub your hands together. Get them nice and warm. Once your hands are warm enough, put them on the front of your throat and just be there. Let your head rest down into your hands. And here's an important question I've been asking myself as I do this practice. Does it feel like the weight of my head is more in front of my hands, more behind my hands, more to the right or the left, or does it feel supported by the warmth of my hands? It's usually a pretty good alignment cue for your neck. Then right hand goes on the left throat, big heavy hand draws to the middle as I twist. Other hand, left hand, right throat, big heavy hand draws to middle. Big heavy hand. Big heavy hand. I'm going to get into the jaw a little massage there. And, again, this is week number 4 of this class and year number 4 of me working with the CommunityFIT population. So if you would prefer to massage or tap or pull or swish and you know them, do that. Do whatever of the practices in the jaw and face area make you feel good. I'm going to go into a little tapping. Down into my chest, I might do a little tap. For me, it's been a busy morning, so I feel like I need some settling. So I'm just going to take my right hand and just caress my left arm all the way through again. Just caressing. I can stop somewhere that feels like it needs to be held. Just let myself be held there for a moment. Or just kind of stroke all the way through. Then I can have the other arm. It's like how you would pet a dog or stroke the back of someone you love when they weren't feeling very well. It's that sort of touch. And the pause requires you to notice, requires you to be aware of what does it feel like to touch here versus there. It's a learned experience. Sometimes we forget, sometimes we think, oh, I'm a human and I should have all of this available to me because I'm a human, but yet we haven't practiced in the way that, yeah, running a marathon is available to you. All of us, you just gotta practice. Sometimes we forget that about these simpler movements. So I'm just gonna hold there. Then I'm gonna pick my hands up, shake it like I'm shaking out some stress. Go up and down. I can go forward and back. And shake out my shoulders, my body, my arms. It's like a little temper tantrum for the body. A little bit of sighing. Like I'm literally letting out steam. Now, if that feels good for you, stay there. If not, go into some humming. And if you really need some help, this comes from the work of Dr. Peter Levine, who created somatic experiencing. He's one of the world's leading experts in trauma-informed practices. This is called the VOO breath or the VOO hum. V-O-O-O-O-O. The V is important. There's a V sound by O-O-O-O-O. If you need to hear what it sounds like this. Big inhale. Boo. It requires you to sort of pooch out your belly, which is the use of a diaphragm, the V sound, and then like a deflation. Let's try that 1 or 2 times. And again, you can do the sigh, you can do the breathing, you can do the humming, or 2 of these. Boo. Boo. Nice deep inhale. Then a little bit of orientation, just looking around your room, noticing whatever you notice. If you are not very good at noticing things in the body, which let's face it, we're just not trained to do that. We're not taught. Noticing things in the room is a precursor to noticing things in the body. And I'm just literally objectively noticing, oh, there's a plant, and a ladder, and a logo, and a table, and a sign, and some lights, and an air duct, and a door, and a window. And I'm just noticing what's in the room. If this strikes you as silly, spend some time in this practice. You need it. If you're like, got this, James, understand this. Notice the spaciousness in the room, the space between objects, how much space there is to move through the space. I could move through it. I could walk through it. I could throw something through it. And you notice there's a lot of spaciousness in your room. Then, eyes opened or closed, notice in your own internal terrain, in your own body, inside of you, what feels more spacious? How do you know that that feels spacious? What does it feel like to feel spaciousness? Because that's not up here in the body. It's like a felt sense in the body. Then what inside of you feels less spacious? Maybe it registers as my painful hip, my tight shoulder, my congested knee, that foot that I feel disassociated, disconnected from, the backside of my body that I don't even know what it is. How do I know what feels more congested and less spacious? What does it feel like to notice spaciousness versus what does it feel like to notice congestion? You're going to need this. You're going to need this in the rest of the class. So if this is your practice for today, spend some time here. How do you know where you're stressed? How do you know what stressed feels like if you can't notice spaciousness and congestion? Spaciousness versus lack of spaciousness inside of your body, because that's what stress is. Stress isn't up here. This is thought land. Stress lives in your body and percolates upwards. So noticing it in your body lets you work with it and metabolize it quicker, more efficiently, integrating it into your life and leading the life you want to live. You're here for a reason. That's what you want. Now, I'm going to throw out some of these practices. Again, these are some of the things we've been covering the last few weeks. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time detailing them. In fact, I'm going to get us into them and I'm going to say if you feel more congested, more tight, more tense in your legs, do this one. Spend some time here. If you need to move to your shoulders, do this. If you need to move to your belly, do this. So let's get to it. I'm going to lie down. We're going to do our tension and trauma release exercise. I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together. I'm going to gently push them together. I'm going to tuck my pelvis, squeezing my butt cheeks and hovering off the ground. And I'm going to be here for 30 to 45 seconds. Just squeezing and pushing down, trying to create tension in the pelvis and in the legs. And then I'm going to slowly work my way down. I'm going to allow my knees to come together inch by inch until I reach a point where they want to tremor, shake, vibrate. And I'm going to let them vibrate and shake for about a minute or so. And then I'm going to open back up and repeat. Soles of the feet together, squeezing, lifting up into my bridge, coming back down, back into this vibration, letting them shake. If you are someone who in that spaciousness Exploration felt, oh, I feel congested, I feel tight, I'm disconnected from my legs. If you know you carry stress in your low body, stay there. If you need some work up top, follow me here. I'm going to bring my two hands together. I'm going to gently squeeze, holding onto my wrists, gently pull them apart until I feel a contraction between my shoulder blades. I'm then going to decide to keep my ribs totally still and pull one arm and then the other. On the back side of my body, I should feel tension between my two shoulder blades as I move through that. I can go a little lower. I can go a little higher. If you're someone who experiences stress and tension in the shoulders, that's your practice. If you have it up in the neck and the head, I'm going to bring my hands together. I'm going to push my hands into my head into my hands, open up my elbows, keep all my bones still, make my eyes look to the left. I'm going to hold my eyeball looking left scenario until I feel myself digest, swallow, change in the way I breathe. Then I can look over to the right and do that, followed by just letting my head pendulum swing. If you carry your stress up in your neck, head, shoulders, jaw, do that. If you carry it in the belly, knee, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our hands onto our stomach, upper belly, stomach area, imagining it's a water balloon. I'm going to gently compress it downward and then gently roll to the left and then down to the bottom, over to the right. I'm going to notice what feels sensitive, what feels important or tight, different. And I'm going to hold there until I feel a release, a swallow, a difference in my way I breathe, a relaxation. If you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, James, we have 3 weeks of videos to help you out. Here's what you can do. You're just going to squeeze everything into the tightest little ball you can squeeze, 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 face included, and then relax. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Relax. Or shake. Just shake it out. So you have a leg thing, you have an upper body thing, you have a neck thing, you have a belly thing, you have, I don't know what to do things, squeezing, squeezing, and being there. Keep going. I'll tell you when to stop. Keep doing the thing that your body has already told you you need to do. If the answer is, I don't know what I need to do, start looking around the room. Start noticing spaciousness inside of your body. Go to the breathing exercise. Even if you just do 4, 7, 8 today, you're doing a really good thing for yourself. Here in a moment, the practice I'm going to move us into comes from psychological fitness. We've already been doing some of that. The spacious awareness practice is from psychological fitness. We're going to move into what's called the book of beliefs practice. And this is all about expectations, stories we tell ourselves about what we are, who we are, and how the world should be. And what ends up happening is when we don't meet those expectations, when our body looks, functions, is different, when our life is different, when our boss says something different, when we don't have the things we think we should have, expectations and shame go into a spiral, stress rises up in the body, and there's a mismatch of what is actually happening on the outside. The reality of your life does not match the story of your life. And the book of beliefs helps the two coincide a little bit better, which inoculates some of the excess stress that we put ourselves through so that we can now be more open to the actual stressors of life, the actual tiger walking in the building, the actual problems, and less stressed internally. So continue with your practice. I'm going to get a sip of water. And here in a moment, we are going to go into our book of beliefs practice. And you're going to have to know in your body what's going on. Good. Let it settle. And now just notice whatever you notice. How does your body feel? What thoughts are coming up into your mind? What emotions are coming up? How is that different than when we checked in about 10 minutes ago? What is different now? You have a choice. You can continue with those practices if the movement, if the physiologic stuff is so beneficial to you that that's where the scent is taking you. That's where your body is telling you to go. Go there. Do those practices. Do some breathing. But if you are aware that you are a storyteller up in your mind, shocker, that's all of us, whether you want to admit it or not, if you're a storyteller, maybe these next practices will help you. So get yourself centered, get yourself comfortable. You may want to lie down, you may want to be in a chair, you may want to sit upright. Notice what you notice in your body and say to yourself, and this is hard because you're going to want to overthink this, maybe even saying it out loud. Finish the sentence. My body is, fill in the blank. My body is. My body is strong. My body is fat. My body is unreliable. My body is in pain. My body is stressed. My body is ugly. My body is beautiful. My body is flexible. And there's so many things. My body is. My body is. Now, whether it was a positive in your eyes or a negative, if you are fat or weak or any of the other things that culturally we devalue, or if you found, oh, I'm strong, I'm flexible, I'm important, my body is good, all of the things we overvalue in this culture, whatever, it doesn't matter which side of the spectrum it's on. Close your eyes, keep them open, it's up to you. Where in your body does that story live? My body, I can only walk you through my process. My body is strong. When I say that, I feel that up my back. So what I'm going to do is create a practice to create some spaciousness around that. Strong feels really good, really important. It's a story just like anything else, because sometimes my body is weak. Sometimes it is. So I'm going to notice that feels to me, that story, that awareness in my spine feels like lack of spaciousness. It feels like a contraction. So I'm just going to notice, oh, look at that. I'm contracted around my spine when I say my body is strong. I believe my body is strong, and that feels like contraction. I'm going to notice the spaciousness around it. Like, oh, look at that. My belly feels softer. My ribs feel softer. And as I do that, I allow my posture to shift, kind of sink down into that. And now as I say that, instead what's coming up for me is my body is flexible. So as I say my body is flexible, now I feel that in the front of my hips. So I can kind of just let go of that a little bit. I told you it requires knowing what you feel in your body to go along with what are the stories you're telling yourself. They're living in the body as much as they're living in the mind. As I do that, I notice that, oh, I default up into the shoulders and neck a lot. Like this now feels important to support myself. So now I'm being called to just lie down because I don't want to overwork my shoulders. This is a stress reset class. I just want to be here. In fact, that feels like too much work. So I just want to be here. Now I'm feeling open and vulnerable. So I'm just going to shake a little bit. Like I'm going to shake off some of that stress. For my body, I'm now feeling very vulnerable, very different, very noticeable in the gut. So I'm just going to take and kind of rub my gut. As I do this, I'm now feeling an urge to like, if I'm going to be quite honest, it feels like I could cry. It feels not because I'm sad, not because something happened. It just feels like, oh, look at that. There's an urge to express. It's cathartic. I have been holding on to that tension in my body, and I didn't even know it, which minimizes my ability to handle the world around me. See, you thought you were going to come in and get a class on how to avoid stress, and instead you get a class on how to metabolize it and befriend and work with it. Life skills. my body is. Recollect yourself. What do you notice now? For me, I now feel taller. I feel more relaxed. Sound is different. Next question. I am. I am. The first thing that comes up in my body is I am weak, because that's where I just took me. But when I say that, it feels like I want to sink into my body. Oh, I'm weak. I'm here. And so to metabolize that, I sort of go, well, does that feel congested there? Does it feel spacious there? What's the feeling going on there? And if you don't know, you have all of those physical practices you can go to. We have spent weeks and even minutes in today's class doing the hip release, doing the shoulder release, the throat release. There's value in that to get you to this spot. But some of you are already here. And that's what this class is escorting us through a process. So I'm just going to envision spaciousness here. And when I do that, how do I have to shift my posture? Again, I'm right here, but now this feels less like I'm working my shoulders to be here. Now this just feels relaxed. And instead of weak, it's like I'm open, I'm vulnerable, which to me, vulnerable is a really good quality. Vulnerability and leadership go hand in hand. When I teach leadership courses, we spend all the time in the world talking about vulnerability. So this, when I say vulnerable, it's not, ooh, he's vulnerable right now. It's, he's strong and vulnerable. I am. What comes up for you as you say, I am, fill in the blank, or my body is, fill in the blank? What comes up for you? Where does that live in your body? Other questions might include, I should be, fill in the blank. I should be strong. I should be powerful. I should be flexible. I should be fit. I should be skinny. I should be. Where in your body does that live? Can you notice, does it feel more spacious, less spacious? Where? How does that affect you? Does it contract you? Does it open? Do you avoid? I should have is a good question. I should have. I should have gone to the gym. I should have gone for a run. I should have more money. I should have eaten less. I should have, there's infinite, no, they're very open-ended questions. My body is, fill in the blank. I am, fill in the blank. I should be, fill in the blank. I should have, fill in the blank. They are all questions that lead to expectations. And sometimes when we don't meet those expectations, when those don't match our reality, our body responds. And then biochemically, the contractions, the disruption, the congestion sends up signals up into our mind that feel a lot like stress. It's like the fiber optics of my nervous system get frayed. And so what I've just given you is that the possibility of opening up the nervous system, settling into the body, metabolizing and moving through tension, physical tension in the hips and the shoulders and the neck and the belly and the whole body, letting it go, and then putting yourself into a mindfulness, a somatic body-centered mindfulness practice designed to help you in a very biologic way process the stories you hold about yourself that are causing more stress through expectation. That's what this is today. Comes from the work of Dr. Mark Atkinson and Psychological Fitness. If you want to know more, you can look up that. Dr. Mark Atkinson, Psychological Fitness. As we wrap up today, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale. Take a notice. What do you notice now about your body? What from today do you need to spend 5 more minutes doing after we leave today? Is it more release from the legs, from the neck? Do you need to go back into this I am practice? My body is practice. I believe X about myself practice. So you just need to breathe. Inhale 4, hold for 7, exhale 8. Or last practice of the day, I want you to smile. And now imagine that not just your face smiles, but your whole body smiles. What would it feel like for your entire body to smile? This comes from the work of Thich Nhat Hanh. How would it feel for my whole body to radiate smile. Thank you so much. I know today had to have brushed up against some comfort zones. We are not used to challenging our beliefs, especially from a body-centered perspective. So I appreciate it. This work gets easier. Like any new skill set, it takes practice, 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 practice. And here's the beautiful thing. New skill sets, it's not perfect practice. It's repetitions. I just got to get it in. I got to fail. I got to have emotions. I got to do it. So do it. I promise you, this is science-backed work. Science-backed. So thank you so much. Hopefully you'll join us for Move Lab tomorrow, and we're back for another stress reset on Friday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, James. I have somewhat of an unstable connection, so I'm just going to try to make a real quick announcement. So we don't have all of the links up yet. We have the first 5 classes up. We are still working on a comprehensive library. And as soon as we have that available for you, we will let everyone know where it is and how to access it. But right now we do have the first 5 classes up for you. Also, I think we had a participant who maybe wanted you to explain, I think it's the 4-7-8 breathing again. Yep. Can you explain that one?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, 4-7, it looks like she got lost when I stopped saying inhale and exhale. And that's part of the practice, is to take ownership of that experience. So it's inhale for a count of 4. It's a holding our breath for a count of 7. And then there's an exhalation for a count of 8. And then you repeat. 4, 7, 8. It does not matter how quick or how slow you do it. The consistency between the sets is what matters. So you can't say 4 really quick and 8 really slow, or vice versa. It's whatever the cadence of 4 is, the cadence of 7 is the cadence of 8. 4, 7, 8. Inhale, hold, exhale, repeat.
And everybody might be on a different cadence.
Everyone could be on a different cadence. Everyone could process it differently. That is why I often will escort things in very like hand holding. You're going to inhale, you're going to exhale, you're going to do the thing. And then it's a little more open-ended. And by the end, it's like, figure it out. Do your 4, do your 7, do your 8.
Yeah, got it. Okay, good. And for me today, it was a great reminder about expectations and storytelling, and how, for me too, how we all get caught up in our head based on expectations, whether we're putting them on ourselves or they're on us from others. And then we start a story in our head, and it'll either perpetuate the stress, or it'll perpetuate, negative habits, or it'll perpetuate, it could go the other way. It could perpetuate something positive. So that was a really good reminder to manage expectations.
Well, and it's, it has to start with the stories you tell about yourself, because you are in charge. It's a closed loop. It's a cycle that you are in charge of. What I wanted to point out is at the beginning of this, I want to say it was week number 1, we had a couple of questions about, or a couple of statements about, I was feeling pretty good. And then my boss came in and yelled at me, said something I didn't like, whatever it is. And then now I'm stressed. Again, that's an expectation. We are under the expectation that every time I have an interaction with a human being, that human being should see me for my total and full value, should be nice, should be cordial. And yet we live in a world where that's just simply not true. And sometimes it's like, well, they hate me, or now I'm in trouble, or whatever. And it's like, or maybe the story is that they just had a problem that they came from. Maybe their life is in a downward spiral. Maybe someone dysregulated them and now they're just passing it through. So what can I be in charge of? Feels so, so, so important for resetting our stress levels. You can be in charge of the choices you make in the body. Now we are working our way towards, how am I aware of what it is I'm aware of?
That's great. Great stuff. I apologize. That was my dog that barked.
No worries.
All right. I think that was it for the questions. So thank you, everybody. I hope you did have a great class. We've got a lot of great feedback. We'll see you tomorrow for Move Lab. Thanks, James. Thanks, Raymond.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Bye, everybody.